January 19th, 2026. Rise, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Melisa Counelis, present. Choi,
Yes.
Scott Taylor,
Here.
Pifer, yes. Jake O'Brien,
Excused.
Ashley Ross,
Here.
Ray Powers,
Here.
Rod Charles, Pete Schultz.
Here. Any public comment on non-agenda items? Seeing none, consent agenda. A, B, C, and D.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Can I pause you for
Yeah.
I have an amendment. Can we add item 9I, Executive Director Performance Review, to the agenda, please?
Should that be a closed session?
It's up to her if she'd like it. Yes, please. We'll have to make a motion when we get there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same thing.
I'll make a motion to approve items 6A and B in bills in the amount of $19,022.20.
Second.
Moved by Ross, second by Clark. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Pete Schultz,
Yes.
Rod Charles,
Yes.
Ray Powers,
Yes.
Ashley Ross,
Yes.
Pifer, yes. Scott Taylor,
Yes.
Choi,
Yes.
Melisa Counelis, yes.
Okay, ED reports, order committee report. Ashley, please.
Yes.
Committee report.
So our last board committee report, we really just discussed the executive director performance review. I did meet with Kimberly one-on-one after that, and then we can discuss it as a group later during 9I. The other thing that we still had the open community survey at that point in time, which the results have come in since then.
Any questions? Seeing none. The ED committee report did not meet this month, so 7C promo committee report.
Yeah, so I was not at the whole meeting, but we did set goals for this next year, and I think once we have this, the outcome from the strategic planning meeting, then we're going to meet back next month and talk about our goals for the promo committee and how to support what is needed here. Let's see, the Polar Express, I think we're phasing that out. It's gonna
TBD. You want me to?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Sorry.
I don't want you to feel pressure to speak on things you weren't there. So we did a recap of the Polar Express and tried to get feedback from the committee on what their thoughts were. I think overall the feeling, everybody likes the event. It's just a matter of, do we want to spend the time and money for an event that isn't really bringing traffic downtown for business sales? And that's the TBD, which I think as we go through our strategic action planning, that can be a conversation. We also talked about, there was some interest expressed from business owners about doing more of a networking opportunity, like kind of a mix and mingle. So we're going to try at our next business owners meeting to do 30 minutes of recap of what we have going on, getting feedback from businesses on what they have going on, and then offering like 30 minutes of networking just to see how that works. And then, yeah, again, just talking about goals and kind of really recalibrating the team and having project champions, perhaps. So not just have everybody talk about every event and put input into it, but having a champion for specific areas of events.
Anything else? Design committee report.
Yes, most of our meeting was spent on discussing some revisions to the grants for that Scott's going to be speaking to that later, or now, I'm not sure when. And then we also had a couple of placemaking items that we talked about. Washington Square was undecorated from Christmas, and we're looking at making some repairs to the planters that were damaged. And I think we've got still ongoing work on powder coating the downtown furniture. And we mentioned that our accreditation is this week, so we'll be participating in that. And that's about it.
The American 250 Oxford 150 Committee.
Yes. So really we're at the point where it's lots of updates and details. We submitted a grant this month to do our plastic didactic work around town. We helped the DAR also do something for boulevard banners as well to go along with that. We received the first draft of our historic state historic marker text, so hopefully revisions will go into that tomorrow, so it'll be submitted back to the state soon. We are kind of finalizing some dates. We have July 9th is our celebration. I think the next step is going to be kind of figuring out our time capsule, that kind of stuff for this year. So, and happy Oxford 150.
Yeah. That's right.
So July 9th, what in John are you proposing?
So it's going to be during concerts in the park. We're just going to beef it up. It's going to be really focused on the celebration. We're going to open the time capsule. We'll do a proclamation that day. We're talking about doing something with the theater group, the Wildcat Professional. Yes. So, okay. So similar along those lines, and then whoever the concert in the park that day will also hopefully be kind of themed. So probably not the Beatles that day if you were. For that.
Thank you. Executive Director's Report.
Yeah, so since our last meeting, a lot has been focused on just wrapping up for the year, prepping for our accreditation. A lot of the things that we've been working on, we're going to be talking through under the new business and unfinished business, so I won't review that a bit. I'll just let you read through that.
Very good. And number 8, unfinished old business, the trolley status update.
Yes, so I received a formal letter from the Lake Orion Downtown Development Association regarding their plans to withdraw from the program, which is not news. So they have finalized that in writing. So I wanted to share that with everyone, that they are no longer interested in participating as a partnership with the trolley.
Quick question, Pete.
Right.
Is there a plan to sell it? Because I know when I did some research initially, there are companies that broker trolleys around the United States. I'm not saying do it right away, but just
Yeah, that's where I have to definitely.
Moving on to 9, new business, A, powder coating update.
Oh no, AA is the trolley.
I thought you were right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the same one. My bad. So yeah, to sell the trolley, we've spoken to 2 possible buyers since our last meeting. One seems very interested but is looking to get additional information. The other has to get some kind of strategic guidance from their business to see if that's something they want to participate in. So there is a movement. We have not posted it anywhere. So if either of these if both of them do not move forward, then we can look into posting it on an auction site or looking for another buyer.
Do we have to post it no matter what?
No, I don't know that we do.
Right.
Wouldn't we look into it anyhow, just to make sure we get a good price? Maybe a better exposure.
Yeah, and we can.
I mean, I've had a couple of phone calls that were, I would say they were a little interested after I went through some stuff, but I would think if we posted it, or they might get some better offers. Somewhere around my computer, I'm sure I have the phone number of trolley brokers that, I contacted.
Okay.
But I'll shoot it over to you.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Okay. 9A, powder coating company.
So just a quick update on that. We had to reevaluate our original contract that we were working towards, had a last minute change in their subcontractor. So we were not able to move forward with them. So we ended up working with one of the original businesses that we reached out to. But they came and picked up all of that last week. So they are in the process of doing that. DPW was wonderful and unbolting everything and getting that ready to go. So do we have a date for return as yet? Okay. So more to come.
Very good. 9B, accreditation reminder.
Yes, just a reminder that our accreditation is this Thursday. I believe the board is invited to lunch. That would be their time to speak with the auditor, essentially, and that's from 11:45 until 1:30, I believe. If you can't make that, we have another session in the afternoon, I want to say about 2:30, that you're welcome to hop into as well, if that works better for your schedule.
Where's that at?
The lunch or the
The lunch.
homeroom?
Awesome.
Trying to mix it up over here. Thank you, Marie.
Right.
Who's the accreditor this time?
So it's a gentleman from Main Street, Louisiana. I believe our partners at Oakland County know him and have worked with him in the past. Do you know? Okay, sorry. Not to put you on the spot, sorry. So yeah, I've not met the gentleman before.
So maybe consider a quick fish that day.
I just wanted to say I went to the accreditation for Oregon last week, and it was more the public one, so it was mostly business owners, but there were some citizens. But there was like 40 people there, and it was awesome. And the guy was like in awe. He was like, I don't know if I've ever seen this many people. So I don't know if we like between us we could probably each get a couple people because I think that was very impressive. You know, kind of like our community cheerleaders, if you can get them all in the same room. And it was literally an hour and a half, but it was a very, very cool session. And the guy almost every question, he's like, I can't believe how many of you are here. So I wanted to share that.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Who is invited to the luncheon specifically? Would it be business owners, for example, or
Well, I think
Or is it
originally
just
it
the
was
board?
just the board
Oh,
because
board
each
members.
session has its own kind of topic that he wants to cover. That being said, I think in the past we've mixed it up if we don't get a lot of attendance. So for example, like those that have businesses downtown, if they end up coming to the business owners session and they want to either not come to lunch or they want to, come to both. So we're pretty flexible. I think the goal is just to get the feedback. At this point, I've only gotten one RSVP for lunch. So
Right. Just my experience at Choi is that it's been board members at lunch.
okay?
There might have been a non-board member at one lunch in the past. I don't remember. It could have been, and that's fine if they come. I'm just saying in the past. it's
Okay,
only board members.
yeah, just curious.
Will you be sending out the schedule for the day as far as the different meetings?
I did, but I can send it again tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
I should
No.
say.
Yeah.
Could we go to the committee members? So for all our committees, could we go to that one
You
instead?
can go to whichever one works for your schedule. You just want me there. That's the point.
I make no promises to make any of them.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the only one.
When I sent it to all the people in the AV committee too, by the way, but I never got it.
The grant revisions?
So we will invite Mr. Creed to come up, and he was the instrumental leader, project champion in this area.
So just a little background. I've only been on a committee with the DDA for 3 or 4 years, on the design committee, and we are tasked with adding recommendations for facade plans And right before that time, I believe the back facade grant came about. So there's always been some issues with the grants, what they covered and what they didn't cover. Well, recently, and I just don't know if it's because of Jess and Counelis open door policy, but there's been some more questions that have been falling into gray areas of some of these grants. So I decided to actually read them. And, and so basically what you have in front of you today is anything in red has been added. This is kind of to tighten up the gray areas. I still left the committee and the board for that reasoning, some levity to basically, we have special circumstances out there. The DDA district is very large. For the most part, though, I just made some changes just to kind of clarify some things. And I used to write I was in the private sector for 20 years. I used to write ordinances and TIF plans. And so as far as details come just shy of being an attorney, but keeping us out of the spotlight is not being fair, which is the design company's biggest concern. So that was the reason for this. So, and if you want to start, basically pretty much all the three grants that you have in front of you, starting with the facade grant. I didn't change anything about the application. I tried to use verbiage that we already had in the grant. Grants were written, I don't know how many years ago, but I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel here. So there's just a couple main things that I just wanted to go over really quick with you. If we can start with the facade grant. I kind of removed.
Which one are you in the back entrance or?
No, just the regular facade grant.
It's in the middle.
Sorry. Did you put them in the same order?
The sign grant is first.
Oh, the sign. Okay, we can go to the sign grant. Sorry, I don't know where you guys have been. Let's go to the sign grant. So sign grant, one of the main things that changed in this is we decided to put murals into this grant. We don't. Our committee didn't feel like a mural should have a cap of $10,000, which you get for a facade. Even though it is a facade, it's more of a sign, but it's not a sign, it's a mural. So I just made sure that was kind of the mural language was incorporated into this grant. As far as you'll see some regular verbiage changes throughout all three grants. One of them is defining who the applicant can be. We're trying to keep that narrow to the owner, the business owner, or the leaser. So no vendors, no sub-leasers. If you feel that will get too messy, and there's timelines that are associated with all these. The sign grant has a 5-year, I believe, or 3-year. Yeah, 5-year. So anyways, in the red, you'll see that for the most part, we want to make sure that the murals are visible. This is also with the facade. You see the same sort of language. That it needs to be visible from the right away or the parking lot or the main entrance. I'll give you more reviews of that as we go through. But for the most part, this one was basically about the signs and murals and basically trying to hold certain building owners and leases to at least a 3-year contract. We hate to be giving the same sign grant to the same building, regardless if you keep changing over tenants. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, it just, to that point, that was the only question that I have thus far, and I guess my question is probably more towards our business owners or building owners. Some tenants will stay there for years, and some switch a lot. So, that was always one of my bigger concerns with it, is that if we are having a new business.
And there's ways to, so being in the architecture world for 14 years, there's ways to work within the parameters of an existing sign that is already there. And just because you don't get a grant from the DDA, and you'll see that language in here as well, it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Right.
And some folks don't understand. They just think the village as a whole, they're dealing with the DDA as a village, and that's not the case. And there's been times that it's like, well, I can't put my sign up because the DDA didn't let me. And so, that's not how that works. We're just not going to give you any money for it, but you can still do it. So, and granted, this is all for, this is why this is like this is why I'm here talking to you guys about it. I'm privileged to have two board members that sit on my committee, so obviously it's not everyone's probably in the dark about this, but it just basically, we would like to see at least three, like if we put money towards the grant, a sign grant, at least 3 years would be nice. And take the 5 years out.
I guess, and so again, it's the same across all, and I can understand the facade from my end. I just was struggling with the signs because if you get a new business owner, hopefully not every year, but I don't, not that it's necessarily going to deter it, but it is nice in my head, and I don't own property downtown, so please correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody came to me and said, hey, we keep rotating through whatever, to me it's more of an attraction. Not only can you come here, but you can also apply for a sign, and you're not limited to the fact that 2 or 3 other businesses happen to be in that same spot in the last 5 years, but I don't know how everyone else feels.
My thought would be a tenant or somebody that's leasing a building shouldn't be penalized that 4 people have been in that building in the past 4 years. But the building owner shouldn't be able to be receiving those funds.
Doesn't it say 2 years?
It's 5.
It's 5.
So where are you where it says 5?
Page 1 on the first sign grant.
Item
On the
10.
sign grant.
Sign grant 10.
But Rod is right, because there is.
Yeah, but that's what
That's what I'm saying.
No, that he's adding.
It says applicants building the same address one time every 5 years. This is
5's a little bit too much.
Regular lease terms would usually be like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years is more.
I think we had 3.
With the 2 to 3 year lease term, they could need a bigger space. They could find out that they don't work well in that business. That's a reasonable amount of time to have any business come in. We want to encourage businesses to come in.
So where do we compromise? Somewhere between 2 and 5. I agree with Melissa. I think 2 to 3 makes sense. In reading it, from what I'm reading right now, it basically signs it between, I would say, number 10 and number 12.
Yeah.
Number 10 is, Rod, you as the business or building owner are limited to 5 years. It's you that's coming forward to get that sign. Whereas if whoever rents the building from you as a tenant, the tenant then is the 2 years.
Well, generally, a tenant should be the one getting the signage for their business. Unless the building owner owns the business inside as well. So that would be an odd scenario. That would be a very one-off scenario, I would imagine.
We did have to have the building owner sign off on all of this when we applied.
Right.
But that was you as the tenant.
Correct.
Right.
That's the standard too.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you were able to get a grant to get the signage
Right.
in place.
But
as
yeah,
a
because
tenant.
he hadn't previously,
Right.
we had previously done it.
So I can make 12 and 10 match each other, so it's 2 years, regardless if you're a building owner or a tenant.
What's the consensus of the board? Between 2 and 5, I'm.
And 2 is our original language.
So I
Scott,
guess
you own a couple of businesses. What are your thoughts?
well, Wood Chips is going on its 3rd owner in 4 years. So, I can't say as a building owner here, but I would be very hesitant to, like you said, you can still do it. I think you're coming into your business and all of a sudden the DDA says, no, there's already been a sign grant. They're like, you already got a bad taste in your mouth. We don't ever want people to have that.
We have the opposite problem. We want people to come here and we want to.
Absolutely.
yeah, tenants 2 and 3 were tenants and not owners.
I think 2 years is sufficient, because then it's not like you're, 6 months somebody's out and then 2 months later somebody's applying for a
Would
grant.
there be language for 2 years for a new leasee or tenant? Because I could see if I owned the building, if I just want a new sign every 2 years, I'd be like, hey.
No, let's just leave it at 2 years. Let's
Okay.
not mess it up.
Okay.
Right, well, and if you're already an existing entity, like I don't need to revamp my sign every 2 years. I don't need, if I'm already existing there, but I as a business owner want my business, I want the town to be full pool of businesses and encouraged to come in and get grants.
And just, the reasoning, we just never want to look like we're giving the same sign grant to the same building owner because they can't keep a tenant.
Yeah, I think that's what our intent was when we discussed
Then
this.
it's like we're playing favorites. It's like, sorry about money, it's November, you want to sign a grant, you can't get it.
Sure. We haven't had that.
Spend money on 5 years.
Right. Is that a problem looking for a solution or what? I don't know. We haven't had that problem. I don't think so.
I think we're requiring a 2-year lease too.
2 years seems like.
Yeah.
If not, we'll change it next year.
Yeah, no, not gonna be
So is this something that needs to go back to revise or we vote on it right now?
We can change it to 2 if that's our pleasure.
This is a work for that.
Yep.
General favor, everybody, 2 years?
Yep.
2 years,
All
yes.
right.
Well,
Do you want to discuss all of them and have a motion?
Make a motion to change it to, what was that, qualifications on number 10 to 2 years? So, second.
Been moved and supported.
We have to do the whole,
We're gonna do the document, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna do the whole document.
okay,
And that was my, the sign grant is just different because of that.
okay.
Because we realize that people don't move into a place that sells the same things or have the same name,
Right.
so, you know. And in hindsight, that works out right. So 2 years matches 12, so it's fine. So, but as far as that, the sign grant didn't have a lot of changes.
But just a second, we have a motion on the table already. Everybody made a motion and it was seconded. So we want to vote no on it, move on and do it all in the entire thing. So that's what we're taking.
So move on, you know, because we got section by section if we had to.
Right, so then let's have a vote on it and get a no vote to, you know, cancel this one and move on. So all in favor at this point of changing it to the 2-year as opposed to the 5-year then? All those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
I thought we were opposed.
We are opposed.
Okay,
Supposed to vote no.
To be able to-
so
to
because
adopt the motion.
if we want to kill this, my recommendation would be for us to vote no, and then to make a new motion saying approve the sign grant changes as presented with the change of number 10 to 2 years.
We probably do, yeah.
Well, then we have to go through the whole thing and then send it back to the committee and then come back with these changes.
I don't think we do.
I don't think we've got to go back to committee.
No,
We're
we just
gonna
say we
take
change
the
it to 2
document
years.
right now, we're making it. So like I said, when we get through, if we want to wait, just do the sign document by itself, we do the sign document and then move on to the others.
What if we come to another one that we don't agree on? I mean, that one we agree on, but what's, you know, my others we disagree on, so how do we
In
go?
the sign grant?
Oh, we do that, just a sign grant, as a standalone?
Yes,
That's-
just a sign grant.
Sign grant.
All right, are we got one sign grant then?
We have to make another
We gotta
motion.
revote.
Assuming you all read it,
Yeah, I can-
there wasn't, unless you have questions about the red areas in the paragraphs of the sign grant, which is just things that were added. They were about like ineligible expenses, like attorneys, architectural, and engineering fees.
We'll just do this, is this still for sign grant?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I did some of the grants crossed over each other, so I did put links to the village, to the other grants. Because someone might consider a sign to be part of the side, which it is, but staff would direct them to the appropriate grants and give us some value in that situation to make, you know, guide the applicant as needed.
I'll make a motion to incorporate the previous motion of changing the sign grant 10, number 10 qualifications to 2 years, and approving all the other changes as presented in here.
I'll second that.
Moved by Ross, supported by Charles. Any other questions? Everybody clear the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Very good. Sign grants, 2.
I will, I'll make those changes. Or you have the document, you can make And then as far as the facade grant goes and the back entrance goes, they're pretty similar. There was some information in there about signs and stuff that I took out in the facade grant. As far as I added some definitions about what a facade is, one of the things that came up about this, and as you get into the weeds here about materials and stuff, is because of the district's size and basically plethora of different buildings, if you will. For example, the downtown business district versus the White House district, those are all residential structures. When does a porch needs refixing? Is there a roof? The bungalow needs refixing. Do we count the roof as part of the facade? You know, so I went through a lot of that because it is the character of the building. A lot of those buildings are well over 50 years, which is usually the tipping point for something is considered historical or not. So, with that being said, I did make some changes to what we consider to be eligible for a facade, and our design committee and stuff, we came to agree. We had long conversations about this. We had 2 or 3 meetings that we discussed these documents to get them here before you today.
So one of the questions I have then is the issue under toward the end of the bottom of page 1 about the awning. You address that, please. Yeah, that's been an issue in Oxford for the last 30 years on and on.
And I don't know why it's in there, so I kept it in there.
Well, a little background. One of the building owners, and this must have been 30 years ago, had an awning on the street there, and they were irritated with the village for some reason, right? No one's ever irritated with the village. And it was destroyed, and it looked terrible. It was hanging down, and they just left it there because they were irritated. And then, of course, then we had the car store issue with that too, right? So that's a little background with why awnings are brought in there. But that's why I'm asking for some clarification.
So as far as I kept awnings in there, and then if you go into the materials, I explained what would consist of awnings. Technically, in generality, when it comes to architectural terms, an answer's roof can be considered an awning because that's what it is. It's an awning from the 1970s. So it's just more permanent.
Okay.
So, but that's part of the facade. We still have, I think the museum might be the only place that still has awnings in town that I've seen.
Naples, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a couple of places.
and we came to it, we had a discussion about what is an awning. I mean, if you have an overhang that's protecting you in the rear door or front door, is that an awning? Like, so we tried to figure that out the best we could. And if it's part of the facade, then it's part of the facade. So if you go on number 4, I kind of discussed the qualifications and basically number 4 is you say what the grant money could be spent for. We took that opportunity to kind of spell out materials. And then if you go further down, ineligible expenses, there's another exterior materials of stuff that we don't want to do, like siding, like aluminum or vinyl siding, like we're looking to make a product better if we can, if the DDA is going to be putting money towards it. But as far as awnings go, I have included, it's the second to last bullet point, number 4, wood, aluminum, metal, reinforced plastic, steel, concerning durable, weatherproof fabrics, and I go through the vinyl coating, polyester, and acrylic fabrics, which are typical for awning, as far as fabric awnings go.
So we have the same issue with 5 years, because the next section says 5 years.
Yeah. So this one's 5. The 2 facades are 5 years. Usually, what we have found is that usually the facade grants, it's a high. First of all, this one especially has a $10,000 ceiling, and then you can add on another $1,500 for the awning, if the awning is part of it, which we haven't, in my opinion, we haven't experienced that. Coming forward for an awning. So,
You had a question on that part?
I just have a question. I have a comment. I really appreciate you detailing this out. I think we walk a fine line with our tagline, bridging home and history, and not being a specific historic district that then becomes too financially cumbersome to actually do a lot of these things. So I just kudos to you because I think this is really well done and gets at the heart of what we're trying to do. So thank you. And I don't have a problem with 5 years on this because it's a facade, not a sign of a business.
District of the building, right?
Yes.
And I leave some wiggle room on that last bullet point of our architectural features as determined by the design committee. And I have other issues, areas where, as determined by the DDA, executive director, staff, everything still comes before you. So we're gonna have issues with houses that are buildings that are on a corner or on a side street, or they have multiple entrances. And I'm just trying to what our committee was trying to do is just kind of make this a little bit more solid, so we don't get pushed back about why, and we can address those. But I think that for the longevity of these grants, this and the edits that we've made here kind of make a little bit more concrete of what we're looking for.
I sat through a planning commission meeting a couple years ago when NAPS was there with their complete facade upgrade, basically they had two walls that they're working with, the Washington Street side and the Burke Street side. You've got an entrance in the back of the building, and at the same time you've got an entrance on the corner, which technically isn't one way or the other. Right there. But again, for the sign portion of it too, you've got people coming down Washington Street, you can see the sign, but people on Burke Street, which faces the entire thing, can't see a sign. So there was question as far as what was allowed and what wasn't allowed, and back and forth. So it definitely is a sticky subject per se as far as how we look at the corner buildings.
Me and my committee, we tried to address that as best as we could. We just don't want. I mean, buildings are getting older, and it's like that building hasn't come before us. Whether it does, how we want to address that. So that was basically the reason for that. We added verbiage to basically number 7, kind of direct people to the back entrance facade grant. It was more sustainable in their scope. If they only have a small entrance, the executive director and stuff can guide them as needed, and you don't have to have that walk through the seal for the money. There was discussion about actually getting rid of that grant, but I feel our committee should be making that decision. So we did. So I worked around it and was able to make basically things as succinct as possible. So these two grants are pretty similar to the deal with facade, just on a smaller scale. We did. I did have some situations where we did move some other stuff about signs, and we just made sure that signing murals are still getting to the grants you need to go to, and you'll see in number 12 in the grant procedures, for the most part, the approval is not now. I just wanted to reiterate that our committee and the DDA does not say that you can't do it, just go through the process. It just might not fall into what the DDA is looking for as far as however whatever it got denied. There were some other little things like they had, like we were supposed to be taking site visits, and the person had to come to our meetings, and it's like we live in 2026, so if that's needed, and we've always had that policy, if that's needed and it's confusing, then by all means have the applicant come. But for the most part, we all can read, see like pictures, we can read quotes, that usually pretty self-explanatory. So that's pretty much it. Wasn't a lot to it. It was basically just a firming up. I mean, a lot of the information that we're seeing here was already in these grants. It was just kind of pieced together a little more easier for an applicant to read and use and navigate, and hopefully not being surprised if the outcome isn't what they wanted.
a motion to approve the changes with the facade grant and the back entrance facade grant program as presented.
I'll second those.
Moved by Lawson, seconded by Choi. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same thing. Scott, thank you for your work.
Thanks so much.
Great job, Scott.
Thank you.
It's something that needed to be done. Yeah, 9D flowers quote.
Yeah, so we're already thinking about spring because we got the winter. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the things.
Absence in the park, sorry.
So we are working with the same vendor for the hanging baskets in conjunction with America 250 and Oxford 150. The theme will be red, white, and blue. So we're gonna have red, white, and blue flowers. I didn't want to spoil it. Yeah. So, and we actually can't take credit for that. We got that suggestion from our DPW supervisor because he is our honorary DDA successor. He has phenomenal ideas that he brings to us all the time, and a lot of them we like to implement. So that was a great suggestion by Brady. So we're gonna do red, white, and blue, and we would like to move forward with an approval for the hanging baskets today. I am exploring the potential of having the same vendor do the ground planters as well, so that all the flowers match for the most part, and we just have one vendor that we're working with. So that second quote will be coming in probably for next month.
I'll make a motion to approve the quote for flowers in the amount of $1,665 as presented.
I'll second.
Been moved by Ross, support by Powers. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Scott Taylor,
Yes.
Choi,
Yes.
Melisa Counelis,
Yes.
Pete Scholz,
Yes.
Rod Charles,
Yes.
Marie Powers,
Yes.
Ashley Ross,
Yes.
and Helen Piper, yes.
9E trash can liner quote.
Yes. So as our trash cans are being refurbished, it was brought to our attention that there's been a lot of issues with, because the current liners are substantially smaller than the actual trash can, they have to kind of shimmy the bag on there, and so if somebody throws something really heavy into it, the bag will just drop off. So the recommendation was to purchase new liners that actually fit the trash can appropriately for the right size and the right bag, and this is the cost of what that would be.
Awesome.
And then there's also a
Makes sense.
schematic.
There's 110.
Yes.
Okay, include the ones in the back of the buildings too.
It does not include the ones in the backs of buildings.
Do they need or not?
I think they would love them, but I think I would have to get another number for you for that.
Okay.
How many more?
I don't know offhand. I want to say not. I'm not going to guess.
There's two in the back in my lot.
Yeah, there's 2 at Washington Square, so I'd say maybe 5 per quad. 4 or 5 per quad. I can come back next month with a updated revision.
For the back.
For
It
including
seems
all
like if we're gonna do it, we might as well
do
do it.
all of them,
Right.
yeah.
I agree with Scott.
Yep.
Do we need to see another quote, or can we say, I mean, we know freight is gonna be more expensive, but the price should be the same or less.
Right.
The liners will be the same, it's just the number of.
I don't want you to, like, for my end, I don't wanna wait another month just so we can go count garbage cans.
Yeah, let's just, I agree.
So potentially you're saying we could have another 15? Or no, 20? You're saying 5 per one?
This is only for tonight.
Can't you just move the executive director to buy as many as we need? That'd be the motion.
And then put somewhat of a
Yeah,
cap on it,
that's
sure,
yeah.
but, you know, what would a reasonable cap be?
Less than 30.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that much money.
Right. I agree, let's move it.
I'll make a motion for our executive director to move forward with purchasing new liners for all of our trash cans within the district, with a quantity not to exceed 30. And if for whatever reason come back to us with the understanding that we know freight will increase as well.
Support. Moved by Ross, support by Taylor. Any questions? Roll call.
Melissa Counelis.
Yes.
Jay Choi.
Yes.
Scott Taylor.
Yes.
Ashley Ross.
Yes.
Marie Powers.
Yes.
Scott Charles.
Yes.
Pete Schultz.
Yes.
And Holly Piper, yes.
Thank you. Nine F, bylaw review.
Yes, so this is something that was started in the board committee. There was a concern about some of the verbiage in the bylaws from our council. So we went through and made a correction to that, which that particular one is regarding, bear with me just a minute, on page 4 under the annual meeting. There was some concern around the appointment of board members. The appointment was intended for the board members to be appointed to committees, not to have people appointed to the board, because that is a council action. So as we went through that, we took a look at the entire document. As you can see, all of the changes are highlighted. There is a section that has blue and red. The blue would be the one that you want to read of those two. But it's just a couple of small like word clarifications, and then within the committees there's just a little bit more detail around what each committee is, what their purpose is.
And a quick comment to regular boss here, will help a lot with the language and
Yeah, he did.
Ray
That's
did a
great.
great job, so Ray can just tell him, what all I worked into it.
Yeah.
Any questions? Clarification?
Motion in that.
Do it.
Motion to go to strategic plan workshop.
No, just approve them.
No,
Approve the
we
change
need
of
a motion.
bylaw.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I moved that I approve the bylaws as presented. The change of
I
bylaws.
was already talking.
Next.
It's okay. That's a good question.
We're not a professional meeting.
I'll support that.
Okay, Charles, support by Howard to approve the amendments, or whatever you want to call it, to the bylaws.
So
Any,
then we'll take it to council next month and get that approval, and then update the final document and have that ready to go.
all right. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same thing? 9G, master plan review.
Yes, so this is just a heads up. Joe was not able to make it today. I was going to have him just speak on it. Learning from the council meeting, the master plan is going to be open for review at some point within the next year, I believe. So if there are any recommendations, that would be a good time to suggest those, have a conversation with Joe, have a conversation with the council member, just so that we can talk about it in our board meeting if there's anything you want to propose to the council for changes.
Board members, what the master plan is basically what the zoning of the district is, or I should say the entire village, but any property that is in the DDA district would be affected by what the master plan says, whether it's zoned for, R1, R2, or commercial, or, whatever you want to call it, different things like that. So it affects where any growth that comes, whether, for instance, Hampton Block, whether or not it can be, condominiums or apartments that goes in there, or what it's, I'm not even sure where it's currently zoned at, zoned commercial or industrial, wherever, if it needs to be changed or stuff like that. So that's something that needs to be, if we're supporting more residential coming in or something, and that's what we would need to be looking at or recommending, or if it's something that, we think that it would be better to put something in there for commercial or mercantile, whatever you want to call it, to, have something like that going into some of those spaces. So that's the overall look extensive and it takes quite a while to go through it. So.
You know, when you're, you know, I would encourage people, this is really a village document as opposed to DDA. Correct. That's what you're working on, but, you know, dealing with the ordinances, it's potentially a lot of problems if not done correctly. If it's done correctly, there's issues, and we have all kinds of things that go on at the township level with ordinances every month. You know, it's, because you not only have current things going on, but we also have issues with things that go back to like the 1800s sometimes, how the property was developed. If you ever drive through a town where it says, you know, we have ordinances, a lot of towns don't have ordinances, but people could just build anything they got pleased. You know what kind of problems that would be, right? I can tell you some of the gory details we deal with sometimes. I mean, some of it's I can't reveal, but some of it's pretty scary stuff. But having an ordinance and following is very important.
Yeah.
Well, so after our last meeting, our village manager had brought it up. I don't think that the master plan will probably change much. We're very bound where what we can do. It would just be kind of doing a quick review to make sure that our spaces are all still in compliance, and if there is any changes, like Hampton Block, for example, if it is zone business, making sure that it's zone residential, if that's what they want to do, or have some flex space. But it will most likely be a very minor master plan project this time around. I don't think we're going to have, I mean, obviously we'll work with whoever we need to work with, but it's not going to be anywhere near what the township just did. We did this 5 years ago, kind of along in tandem with the township. Didn't really find too many issues either, so I'll just carry forward.
Yeah. Generally, most of this takes place at the planning commission, is where this normally takes place. It goes through the whole process, and the planners are pretty much the one that spearheads it and leads the project through. H, strategic plan workshop.
So I think, and I apologize for not catching this earlier, but I think I should be above H, because the strategic plan workshop, we will adjourn this meeting and then start the strategic plan workshop, is my understanding.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
But do your review first.
Correct.
That's been closed doors, so just,
Only if she wants to.
she just asked me.
She can have information.
Motion to go into closed session?
Yes. I'm actually going to close session. With the vote to go into closed session, so I have a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
And with that vote, and with that including who?
Closed session involving the current board members and our executive director.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same thing?
I understand why when we come out of closed session, we have to vote to come out.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. So we are back in the session now. So we need a motion to I'll make a motion that we extend a 2.8 increase to Kimberly. Kimberly, it should be 2026.
Second that.
Moved by Scholz, seconded by Charles. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Pete Schultz,
Yes.
Rod Charles,
Yes.
Maria Powers,
Yes.
Ashley Ross,
Yes.
Scott Taylor,
Yes.
Jay Choi,
Yes.
Melissa Counelis,
Yes.
Holly Piper, yes.
Thank you, board members. There were no items that were removed from the consent agenda. Board member comments? Okay. You can start.
I really am looking forward to having people walk around again and talking about events, and I think a lot of that stuff gets done now. Congratulations, good job, Andy. I really like your approachable nature. I really think I've heard that from other people around town too. Seeing you around and seeing you on my Facebook feeds, and I think you do a great job.
2025 was a very busy year. I really appreciate that all the work that both of you did, onboarding and completely new roles. You both did a fantastic job. It is Village 150, America 250, and Police Department 80th. So happy anniversaries.
Congrats, Kimberly. We knew you could do it. I was pulling for you. And I'd like to give a shout out to Ashley. She did a ton of work with the survey and putting all this together and the bylaws update, and I just really appreciate your work. Thank you.
Just looking forward to a better year than 2025. We've had a lot of challenges, but I want to thank you, Jessica and Kimberly, both for your hard work, and I appreciate the professionalism and just the calm demeanor and handling everything that came up in a very professional way. So I appreciate that.
Yep, I relay the same thing. You ladies are absolutely wonderful. I've loved the discussions that deep diving into what's been working, what's not been working, and cutting things where we need to and growing and excelling on the great things where we should as well. So you both have done an exemplary job, and I appreciate you. And then a great job to Scott, who's not here anymore, about the updates that he did on those documents, and Ashley for all the work that you do on the documents. And yeah, you were all wonderful, and I appreciate you.
Yes. I agree. I think you guys have done awesome with being organized and being where you say you're going to be when you're there, especially during the events. It was a great year. It's interesting to watch what's going to happen this year with the changes that we've kind of been talking about as far as what events we're going to do, what we're not going to do, how we're going to make those changes. But it's going to be a great year. So yeah, thanks. You guys are awesome. Love all the social media.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate the improvement, like we said earlier, with the language drama. That's really nice. And then Ashley, thank you for what you've done in the evaluation.
Yeah, very nice job.
Thank you all board members for your input in a meeting that was very well thought out and very helpful. Actually, I think it was nice working with putting the survey together and all the work and
I
the
literally
form that
just
we
typed
used.
it, so thank you for that. It was already existing.
That's something I can't do. I really appreciate it. Kimberly and Jessica both, you guys have tremendously done a huge difference in the office as far as turning around, as far as paperwork, as far as records that we were extremely lack of our hand on or whatever to work with going forward. You basically did come into I don't want to say a clean slate, but basically an empty slate, I guess would be a better way, because there was nothing to fall back and say, what do we do before, how do we do it? It was difficult. And it's taken a lot of work on your part to put that together and to put systems in place. One of the biggest things that we had is statistics on our events and projects that we've done over this year. We've never had that before as far that's huge going forward. And I think going into strategic plan later on, it's going to help us, you know, go that thing. So looking forward to working with both of you this coming year, and great job. No extended public comment, so motion to adjourn.
Just very quickly.
Yeah, public.
Thank you so much for all of the positive comments. Thank you, Jess, for everything that you've done. She's been phenomenal and amazing, and I could absolutely not have done this without her. Thank you to all of you for your support and your interest and your dedication to doing what you're doing in every way that you're contributing. So we obviously could not do this alone, and thank you.
Very good. Now, motion to adjourn at 8:25.
I move that we adjourn.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we're just
So we're
going
staying